Michael Sy is the director of Avance Tutors. Michael appreciates that Unleashing Potential actually spend the time to get to know his business and help him identify areas for business growth. You see, for him it's more like a business partnership.
I've always been interested in marketing, and I guess what I needed was a fresh pair of eyes to see where I'm coming from. And I think he definitely provided that in terms of taking the time to know my business and to go further with it. And yeah, I mean, he's very, very analytical, but at the same time, he is also very objective in terms of what he does, and I'm very similar, and that's why I like working with him. He hit it off right from the start, and we did catch up immediately. But before I actually came to him, I've already went through around 10 website companies because I really want to do my homework for once. Basically with him, he actually spent a good, I think it was 2.5 hours going through what it is, what my philosophies are. At the time, there were also questions I couldn't answer, but that was quite good for me to reflect on my own business, to really also get then, logically speaking, the students know what I want as well. So if I didn't know what I wanted, the students didn't really know what is there for them at the end of the day. So these are kind of reflective questions, but I knew that he actually wanted to put in good effort and make it a really good job. Yeah. One of the companies basically went, "This is what you need," and without knowing me. And then what he did was like, well, look, it could be anything, to be very, very frank. And one thing he did tell me is that he is not going to guarantee anything except the fact that he's going to try his best. And he is going to make sure that we're going to be happy with the results as we go through it. So it's more of a guided process. And my first encounter with him that was true as well, and made a very, very big impression for me. So to be very honest, he was the last one I communicated with, and that was the one I stuck with. Yeah, but everyone else overpromised, I guess. If he doesn't always if I ask him a question he doesn't know the answer to, he will definitely tell me that, and he'll obviously find out more about it. But at the same time, for what he knows about, he's not afraid to almost risk it a little bit in terms of maybe what it will end up, whether he'll get the sale or not. He's willing to tell me wholeheartedly about the risk that are involved. And when I ask him questions, he's very, very transparent in terms of how he does things. Yeah. Basically, the first and foremost thing was that he proposed the idea of this thing called search engine optimization. And search engine optimization for me was a brand new term that I had no idea about anything about. And it's a monthly commitment for 1 year. That sounded, to be honest, quite kind of cynical in the beginning. But as I came to understand where he was coming from, and he was actually open enough for me to engage and ask questions for, it made a lot of sense. And as I went through it, to be very honest, a year fully into it, it's giving me rewards that I would not have thought it would have been possible. And it's really up to me now to convert those potential leads. And that's always great, where what you're doing has a long-term effect. In saying that, there were times where I'll strap for cash a little bit here and there, but it's always him talking about the fact that it will work, and actually explaining to me in detail that has got me to where I am. And for me personally, the marketing strategies, not only that, but he offers good advice in terms of social media. The fundamental thing I know about him is that he knows that a website in itself doesn't really do anything. It's what comes around it and what surrounds it as well, to make it actually attractive, to make it close the deal, to do what it's supposed to do. And I found that extremely helpful. So he does think about the immediate and also the future. And I think, fundamentally, Yusuke is a very reasonable person to interact with, and reasonable is as good as you can get. I would definitely recommend him based on the fact that, like what my experience was, is that I definitely look, the way I do things is that I definitely look between the fine lines in terms of what's I guess written up and promised and what they actually want to deliver. So I know that he holds a very, very high standard for his own work. He takes a lot of pride in what he does. And in terms of that, he definitely holds himself very accountable, to the extent that I felt that I needed to do my part of the work to get things done. So I personally like that type of partnership interaction that I had from day one. And all of it made a lot of sense. There was nothing that I was kind of like question marked about necessarily. And he guided the approach very, very successfully. And I guess results speak for itself at the end of the day. But in saying that, I would be more than happy to do more projects with him for different scales and different things. because I know that for me anyway, what I've invested into in terms of time and money has definitely given me more of my own time, and I guess more money for the business as well. Yeah, I guess that's what it is. But he's definitely very personable, and I really didn't think that that was part of the deal when you went to web designers, and it's all what it is, and he's very down to earth as well. So that's where we can get along quite easily. He's got a broad spectrum of knowledge behind him as well. Yeah, definitely good, and I'm very unconventional in terms of how I ran my business, and he definitely appreciates that as well. One thing about Yusuke and Unleash Potential that is quite unique on top of what they deliver is the fact is that he sees opportunities really clearly. Okay, so what that basically means is that, and he's not afraid to share these opportunities with his clients. He views them, I feel, as more their partners. So what comes around goes around. Okay, and if he's helping everyone out, it's a very symbiotic kind of relationship. And if you were to ask for help, he is always there to be very prompt. Actually, he answers emails very early in the mornings and get back to you within kind of 3 hours ish. So I think having that kind of companion along the way when doing business is someone you can rely on, and also someone who is going to give you trusted information. So I guess that's the biggest part with any partnership, that you are happy to give a little bit of your business away, if you like, in terms of the authority, but I've learned to definitely trust him. Not without initially, obviously giving a good thought, but it's something that he definitely respects too. So I guess this relationship that ultimately makes it work really well. Yeah.